So, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, I feel like most of you know me as Avery Jones,
Mhm.
but now that like I'm no longer in this space, you can call me Joshua.
Joshua. I love that name. It's a cute name. It's funny too. This is a totally random sideline, but a lot of the gays that I love end up having names with J. Like, there's a really sweet Australian streamer here that's become like one of my dearest friends, and his name's Jacob. And
I have
yeah,
honestly heard from a lot of people that they wouldn't ever date a Joshua because allegedly we're really crazy.
well, I mean,
Cannot confirm or deny, but
I mean, hey, it's not everyone that can spit out a line like "What the big fat hairy fuck." So
true,
yeah.
you know, it's the oddest things that people call you an icon for, but I'll take it.
Well, I mean, we're gonna open up with a very general question here, and I say general, but like, so obviously, you're not exactly straight, right? I say that
Oh God.
because, oh yeah, So, what was your journey to realizing your sexuality, and like, what was the process for you in terms of like coming out?
Well, I was like really young, and I mean, if you could like sit down and talk to my family, they would tell you the same thing. They knew when I was like very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
I literally used to run around the house singing "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" by Shania Twain with a pair of high heels, be tighties. So like it was very apparent even long before I knew it. But I think like some of the earliest memories that I had when I was like 5, 6 years old, like when I would walk through the world and like see people together, I never envisioned myself with a woman. Like I think that women are beautiful and I can appreciate them, but when I thought about like marriage and stuff like that, I always knew that I wanted to be with a man. But I didn't come out until like my freshman year of high school, like summer
Mm-hmm.
before we went into high school. And I just remember like I called my mom and I was so terrified. Like anybody that's come out in any regard, whether you were accepted by your family or you were turned away, I
Mm-hmm.
think you have that like feeling in the pit of your stomach where you're like, oh my God, like this could go really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah.
And there was a long pause when I just said, hey mom, like I need to tell you I'm gay. And it felt like forever that she just was so quiet. And at the drop of a dime, she was like, "Oh, honey, I've always known. Be home by 8:30." So it's a very anticlimactic coming out story. I'm very lucky and very grateful that I had a
Uh,
mom that was so open to it. My dad, unfortunately, was not as great, but I don't really have a relationship with him, so I never really cared about his opinion.
oh yeah.
But my mom was always great with it. I mean, even when she didn't understand something, she would ask questions. And I remember because most people don't know that I'm from Indiana. So when I was growing up and I came out, Mike Pence was still our governor.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, so there was talks of like conversion therapy camps that they were going to start sending queer youth to. And I remember I asked my mom if she would send me to a conversion therapy camp because I wanted to feel normal. Because
Mm-hmm.
back then, like I was so bullied in school because of it, even before I came out, and even more so after I came out, like in
Oh.
high school. So it genuinely, like, she could have taken that opportunity to send me off. She could have absolutely done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember she sat down on my floor and she just held me for like hours and was like, "Honey, nothing's wrong with you. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
fine." Genuinely love my mother.
I love
She's
that.
one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
You get jittery from that at all?
No, I could drink like 2 of these a day. For some reason, it just doesn't. Now, the only thing that I might have happen is like it burns when I pee if I drink too much of it.
Oh.
And it hurts like a motherfucker.
Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it until after doing it for 3 months
Side
straight, and I was
effects.
like, oh god, I probably have an STD.
That's off. I probably have an
And then I kept getting tested, and she was like, are you drinking a lot of Red Bull? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Like 40 ounces, 40 fluid ounces a day. And she's like, yeah, that's probably.
Are you still on the Red Bulls?
No, 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 no. After Hollywood and Vine, when I did that shot, which
Uh-huh.
which was completely candid. It was not planned. It was not scripted at all. When we sat out on that little terrace area at Chateau Marmont,
Uh-huh.
um, completely unplanned. They just ran the cameras. That story is real, absolutely
Oh my god.
100% real. I went to a doctor because it was just not feeling right and it burned so bad. And I was like, oh my God, like something's going on. So I went into this doctor's office in LA and I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, I cannot deal with this. This is my job. Like, I cannot be out of work. And she looked at my Red Bull can and was like,
How many of those are you drinking a day?
makes sense. And I was drinking two 20-ounce cans a day. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that my bladder is going to be feeling like I'm pissing needles. So
Yeah,
now
your bladder had wings, for fuck's sake.
I stick to my water. I refill my hydro or my Stanley at least like 4 times a day. I drink lots of electrolytes. I take very good care of myself.
Good on you. Good on you. I am so
A lot
proud
better
of you
now.
that you've moved on from that horrible nightmare. Also, too, like, again, a lot of my holding back was like worrying about my mom, and like
Hmm.
I spent a lot of time like slowly introducing her to gay media and gay things,
Yeah.
testing the waters, watching her reactions, and then just being like, is it gonna
Mm.
be, is this the moment? And when it happened, I was, again, I was just so scared of the worst option happening, and I remember I was like crying, I was breaking
Yeah.
down, I sobbed the words out, and she just, like, again, she just hugged me and said,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
think it's really like you you're always your own worst enemy, and especially when it comes to like authenticity and like living in your own skin. I think that's the hardest part because it's like I think about other things that I've had to like maybe talk about on a scale like that in my life, and nothing was nearly as hard as like admitting my identity to my mom, the person that gave birth to me, you know, like I mean, she could have had like an entire like vision planned for me in her head. And I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean she was going to uphold me to that, but I've always felt like in a way in that moment, like I might have disappointed her by maybe changing that vision for her. But instead, I think that she just kind of ran with it. And I mean, we can obviously get into it later, but I mean, the life that I have now, like she knows my partner and they're very close. So it's very full circle now that I'm grown and older.
Oh, how
Yeah.
did you first get involved in the industry, and like what were your big motivating factors?
Ooh, girl. So when I was like when I had just graduated high school, I had met a guy like shortly before I had graduated,
Mm-hmm.
ironically enough, who has literally the same first name, which is kind of odd.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I was so smitten by him in the moment. And I mean, spoiler alert, I look back at it now and it was a train wreck. Terrible human being, but I ended up moving to Kentucky and we were together for a couple of months and he had cheated on me and got really abusive and
Ooh, wow.
physical. And thankfully, an aunt on my dad's side of the family, who I've been very close with most of my life, lived about an hour and a half away. So she drove and picked me up, and it was less than favorable. And I mean, the odds of her ever seeing this are very slim because most of my family has stayed away from this part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
supporting me, of course, but just in a much different way. And I can understand that. But her house just wasn't an environment that I was very comfortable in. It wasn't like very clean. It was very heavily occupied by a lot of people, and it made it very uncomfortable. And I remember one day I was in our bathroom and I got a message on Grindr from somebody who was like, "Hey, like my agent really likes you. You should come to Orlando and shoot with us." And so I was like, I'm 18. I have nothing going for me in this moment. And the situation that I was in at the time was less than favorable. So I was like, what is genuinely the worst that could happen? And I'm not going to tell you it was great because it wasn't, but there will always be a little part of me that like looks at like because I have friends and stuff that send me like screenshots from that specific scene and they like troll me with it and they've created like a meme in our friend group. I look back at it and in a way I reflect because I'm like, damn, at that time like I was so not attractive. Like My hair looked like a bowl cut. It was red because I was going through like a mental breakdown, and I just jumped at the opportunity. And still to this day, I see it, and it was something. And then I came back home and heard nothing for a couple of weeks, and then I think that was when they who shall not be named at Boy Crush reached out to me, and I think that's kind of what like catapulted it before I took a break for a while
Yeah.
and then came.
Yeah. Because I remember when I did the reaction to your scenes, like, it's like seeing the Cockyboy stuff, which obviously is what it really introduced you to me.
Yeah.
Was one thing, but then like looking back at like Next Door and Boy Crush and all that stuff, it was like this felt like an incredibly different person.
Yeah, I think I I know that there's a lot of stuff over the years that have floated around about cocky boys. I mean, I'm definitely the type of person that can manufacture my own opinion on people.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. And if anybody did have a negative opportunity or negative situation with them, I feel bad for them. However, the relationship that I built with Adrian and Jason is something. I mean, I still occasionally talk to Adrian every
When he
once in a
says
while.
Jason, he means Jake.
Oh yeah, I always forget that people don't know them the way that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what does he go by on
Jake
Twitter?
Jackson. Yeah.
Jake Jackson, and
And
w-
I think Adrian still has. Well, he uses Adrian Armas too, on there
is
for his
it?
photography. He did
Yeah,
used to
okay,
have
so
an RJ Sebastian account, but I think it might have gone nixed or
that's what
something.
it used to be,
Yeah.
RJ Sebastian.
Uh-huh.
So the way that they captured me wasn't in a way that was strictly just focusing on me being a twink.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, while I am very lucky that my genetics have allowed me to be this skinny,
Mhm.
and trust, I am still that small, um, it's not like my entire identifier. Like I have so many other parts of me that I think are very beautiful aside from just being skinny. Skinny isn't everything. So
Precisely.
I think the way that they captured me was just so beautiful, and it showed a part of me that I think people hadn't seen before. But it when I went to Cocky Boys, it was also like a big like to Boy Crush, because I remember when Brian like looked at me before I took that hiatus the first go round, and he was like, "Oh, they'll never want you. Like
Yeah.
you're not what they look for." And I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." So when I came back years later, and not only did I not apply, keep in mind,
Yeah.
they reached out to me. So that in a way I was like, "Oh, okay, work." And then we are, and I have this beautiful relationship with them, and I genuinely will be grateful for them forever.
And like you say, there's people always have their own experiences, and I think I've heard mumblings too. But
Yeah.
overall, Jake and Adrian have both been utterly sweet people. From the very first time I decided to do a reaction, I think my first one for them specifically was Lips Together, 6 Feet Apart with Sean Ford and Angel, and I honestly that was like the thing that really made everything click for me. And I was watching, I was like,
Hmm.
this is cinematography right here. Yeah, it's porn. Yeah, there's beautiful big dicks. There's a gorgeous cum shot in here. There's some amazing sweaty fucking, but also too, this is a beautifully put together story. This is a
Adrian is a talent.
yes.
He just has an eye for what looks beautiful on
Mhm.
camera. And I
Yeah.
mean, obviously people don't get to usually see what goes on behind the scenes. Y'all get to just see the final product,
I
right?
love
Unless
that I had the
video.
behind the scenes stuff for Hollywood and Vine and
But
being
you will never know a relationship like when you are on a bed filming a standing up position, and I'm literally looking Adrian dead in the eyes as I'm like moaning into the camera, and we're laughing the
uh huh.
whole time.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of vulnerability there. And he's such a wonderful person, and his
Oh yeah.
eye for detail is just, it's chef's
Like
kiss.
you're there. I love watching the bits where Lane was tossing you onto the bed. And it's like there were the multiple takes because you fell the wrong way, or it was like you tensed your body too much. It was like, oh, we
Oh
want it to
yeah.
look more like this, and then I'm just sitting there watching, and she's like, it's brilliant to
I'm
watch.
genuinely only graceful in drag, but like if I'm given a prompt and they're like, "Oh, fall this way," I'm
Hmm.
like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
try."
Uh-huh.
And it'll go wrong about six, seven, eight, nine times,
Hmm.
but I mean, I'll get it done. But we did that so many times.
Okay, and I love that. So, like I said, what were some of your motivating factors for getting into the industry? Because I feel like I think the default is usually money, but sometimes there's some people
Uh,
that have a different sort of.
I think I had an idea in my head that like maybe there's money involved,
Mm.
but I think more of my motivator was the living situation that I was in that in my head I was like nothing could possibly be worse than what I'm in at this given moment in time.
Hmm.
And there's going to be one of two things happen. I'll either fall flat on my face and nothing will ever come from it, and I can at least use it and say I did it, and now I have an experience for the rest of my life. Or at any point in time, I can be really successful and do something different than what everybody else has done. So, sure, I think money was always in the back of my mind
Yeah.
because I quit my job at the time to do it, but I don't think that that was a complete motivating factor. I think most of it was the situation that I was in and that I was willing to do just about anything to get out.
Okay, I love that. That's a good one. It relates to like when I was doing my pride conversations last month.
Mhm.
One of the first people I talked to was Anthony, and he was raised Jehovah's Witness and like extreme
Oh,
Jehovah's Witness. So like when a lot of his stuff leaving that town, finding like sugar daddies,
mm,
moving in with them, everything. Again, it was that very similar thing. It's like I had to escape this life
yeah.
somehow, no matter what. And he found the opportunities, he took them, and it was ups and downs and drama, but he made his way out, and yep.
Oh, it's always all over the place.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think anybody's one specific porn journey is graceful or beautiful by any means. I think it's a lot of struggle, but those that make it and those that like actually become super
Hmm.
successful, I think most of them have an origin story that is less than favorable, and it's
Hmm.
very commendable because it's like you took a situation that was very, very negative or
Hmm.
less than favorable,
Hmm.
and you having the intelligence and the gall and the grit, you just ran with it
Yeah.
and you became something. Some overnight, some took a lot longer, but they still got there in the end. And I think that that's a very respectable thing.
Definitely, definitely. And it's like, well, I mean, obviously, if a guy is like exceptionally hot or
Mm.
exceptionally well endowed,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they can coast. But I feel like, for the most part, the guys that really sort of make a mark for themselves and make a name for themselves are doing it for something more than just the base stuff. Because I don't think you
Yeah.
can get too far if you're just clocking it in,
Oh, yeah,
essentially.
no.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are definitely a few, and I won't name names.
Timothy Champagne.
I'm not,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm not that girl.
Yeah.
I'm a more realized person than I once was, but there are definitely a few
Mhm.
that I have been in talks with that I definitely sat there a couple times and was like, "Oh,
Oh, okay.
you think that you're that girl?"
Well, good for you, honey. Good for you. Yeah.
Work.
Uh huh.
I'm not gonna, burst your bubble, even
Yeah.
though that might not be my read on you, but
Well, chances are they don't even want their bubble touched anyway. They're just there for their paycheck.
I mean, I will say I did see some of the drama go around on TikTok, and I had a perfectly good opportunity to interject. I just chose not to. So.
Speaking of which, I need you to give me that. I need to add you on TikTok. Mostly because I will send you funny things that I think you would like. And but
Yeah. No.
anyway, yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'll send it to
So,
you. We're done.
yay. All right. So I have a specific one, and this is very specific, and I kind of hate and love the way I worded this, but I'm gonna stick
Hmm.
with it. So, one of the big reasons you left the industry was for love.
Hmm.
Let's hear that story.
So I'm not ashamed of how I met my partner. Um, I think it's very different, and not a lot of people can say that they've done it. But the way that I tell civilian people, as I always refer to it, like people who have never been involved in the industry, is if you've ever seen Pretty Woman, because
Mm-hmm.
that's very much that origin story. But I was escorting, because what a lot of people don't know is I wasn't just doing studio work. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing studio work. I was doing OnlyFans, editing my own content, producing my own content, and I was also escorting. So I was constantly working. Like I barely ever took time off.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the time in escorting, you don't see the people that you're meeting until they show up at your apartment, which is why it could be so dangerous because
Uh-huh.
it happens. The only thing you really have is a phone number, and 90% of the time, they're probably also using Google Voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a toss up. But he came over, and I remember I was like running late. I think I had just like gotten out of a show in LA, like I had just performed and was getting home. And he came in and I like sat him on the bed and I was like, give me just a couple of minutes. I need to finish my skincare. And then, we can do the thing. And I put on my glasses after I had finished. And for me, the moment I looked at him, I was like, oh, this is my person. Like he was obviously very physically attractive,
Mm-hmm.
but his energy is very soft and very kind, and he very understanding, and he kind of like doesn't have to respond to everything that you say. Like you can just tell by the way that he looks at you that he understands like what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly I value a lot more than words. um and he stayed over at my apartment for 6 hours, paid me for the whole time. We did nothing sexual. He left for a work trip for like 2 weeks, came back, and we've been together ever since.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
man.
love that. But wait, did you get the shopping trip in Rodeo Drive?
I'm not really a Rodeo Drive girly.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
it's
really
not like
like
Pretty Woman. This was false advertising.
pseudo Pretty Woman. Not quite Rodeo Drive, but I mean, I will say he takes very good care of me. So while I might not be a Rodeo Drive girly, I am taken care of very, very well, and not in a way that's like strictly like about power. Like I'm taken care of like in my
Mm-hmm.
soul, which I value a lot. I mean, money and like rings and jewelry and bags and whatever, that's all secondary to me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about that.
Yes.
Despite maybe what my like image or position online might have been. Um, I care about how I feel here, like in my heart and my
Mm-hmm.
soul. And he really soothes like a part of my soul that I don't think would have been soothed otherwise had I not met him.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, like the way that you talk about them in comparison to a lot of performers, and I think this is true in any industry. It's not just porn. It's like pretty much every industry.
Right.
Performers have a persona. I mean, it's right
Mm.
there, persona. Like you have to formulate the way that you appear to your audience,
Oh,
and
absolutely. You have to
yeah,
maintain at least a little bit of that, because I mean, there while I love like genuinely, I do think that I was very great, like very graciously given a group of people that met me through porn that
mm-hmm.
I think were genuine, like honestly good people. There are still people out there that are crazy, and that they will find you and they'll track you down and they build this parasocial relationship with you all
Oh
because
yeah,
they've seen you online. So you do have to have some sense of other self in
mm-hmm.
order to succeed in that industry, because people, the moment they see even one weak spot, they flick it and the whole thing comes crashing
Oh
down.
yeah,
So I would always recommend that to anybody. At least
mm-hmm.
have a little bit of a persona. I mean, be authentic for sure. I will be the first to tell you 95% of what you saw of me online is exactly who I am in real life. But that small 5% of maybe the stuff that was exaggerated or overdone and over the top for the camera, to a degree, we have to do that
Mm-hmm.
to protect at least a little bit of who we are as human beings.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. And I do I fall into that first category or the second category? I'm not entirely
I
sure.
would definitely say that you're one of the good people. I don't think I would be sitting here
Yay!
3.5 years after my official retirement
Oh my gosh, it's been that long.
doing
Wow.
an interview. Yeah, February 2022 was when I like officially left.
It's so funny because, like, we've had Snapchat, and then, like, because you were still on Insta a little bit after that, too. So it's like, because we
Yeah.
had our social media stuff going on. So it's like, I don't think it ever fully registered with me. And because like, we were just chatting, we were just like yapping with each
To
other.
be fair,
You've had your yeah, we had like waves to it and all, but
I also don't think that it really registered with anybody because I didn't like post a formal message like, hey, bye. Like I literally, and I mean, you and I have talked about
there
this.
was no lipstick on the mirror. There was no big
Yeah,
exit.
no. I just popped on some Too Faced lip injection in a fishbowl, like Snapchat, like filter to Avril Lavigne's Bite Me. And I said, love you. It's been a good journey. And radio silence. That was it.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? It's a good way to go. It's a good way to go. You don't need to make a whole.
I am nothing if not full of individuality. And I'm only ever going to do things in the way that I want to do them.
Mm,
I'm not issuing no formal goodbye. I don't want that. Y'all don't want that from me. Nobody that followed me wanted that from me.
yeah.
They want me to do the things that make me happy and the things that are, I think, iconically Avery. And when I thought, maybe it's my time, I was like, I'm not gonna make this sappy, bitch. I'm going
Yeah.
to pop on a fucking lip gloss and I'm gonna say it's been real.
Yeah.
And that's that it is what it is.
And honestly, perfect. Now, I put this down as one, but I feel like it's going to be easier as two separate questions. So, what
Go
would you
ahead.
say was one of your best experiences while you were in the industry?
Probably right after I did my scene with Greg. Is that his name? My very first scene with Cockyboys.
Let's see. I think so,
Um,
yeah.
I
Oh my
can't,
gosh.
and it's no shade, I promise. I don't feel good, bad, or indifferent about him. It's there's just so much out there that I forget, and honestly, I've not seen a lot of the stuff that I've done aside from clips that they've asked me if they look good. Um, but shortly after that first scene in LA, I got a call, like I think maybe a couple of days later, and that was when Adrian and Jake Jackson had pulled me onto a phone call and asked me if I had wanted to sign exclusive. And in that moment, um, I think a lot of like past like industry trauma had kind of started to like bubble back up from, the raw castings experience and the the bullshit with like next door
Oh, yeah.
and like really old like homophobic owner that is no longer there, thank the Lord.
Good, good, yeah.
Um, really sat there and I told them my concerns and I was like, look, if I'm going to sign, this part of my career over to you for however long I decide to do it, I need to make sure that this isn't just work. Like I want to have like a relationship with you
Hmm.
because I feel like I'm giving you a part of myself and I've built this name up literally from the ground up. Like I did this, y'all didn't do that. So we had a really, really intelligent conversation, and it never once in that entire conversation felt like they were trying to take something from me. The entire conversation genuinely felt like we've seen what you've done and we're really, really proud of you. And they were commending me that the whole time, but they were like, we think that we can produce things in a better way. And so I think it was like a risk on both ends because I don't think that anybody on Cockyboys had been like me at that point, like very loud and so outspoken. And I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the first because I'm definitely not. I mean, Liam Riley came long before I did, but I think that when I had signed on, I was somebody that hadn't really been there at all or in a very long time. and they made sure to manufacture that in a way that people could appreciate, and instead, not, hold a knife to me the whole time and be like, oh my God, a twink, we want jocks. They were so beautiful about it. And so I think I'll always be grateful for that opportunity. That will be something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Even when I won my awards,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another thing. When I won my awards, it was never, we did this, we did this, we did this. Like they were like, we're so proud of you. Like you did this. Like you should be very proud of yourself. Like we had a whole conversation, and like all of the Cockyboys models that had won that year, like we were all in a FaceTime call. It felt very personal. And then we celebrated when we were all in New York together. We didn't fly out for a scene. We literally all flew out, paid for by them, to go and celebrate that we had won. I mean, that's just not a relationship that you can fake, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, again, I have a huge sentimental attachment to Cocky Boys, and I,
Yeah.
like you, like you've said, I will acknowledge if someone does like bring out genuine criticism, but
Mhm.
for me, it's like everything I see about them has been just, it like hits in my heart. It's like when I look at Cocky Boys and I look at this studio through all its iterations, it's like watching family more than just watching a studio or an
And
industry
believe
thing.
me, that's how it felt all the time. Like every single time we were there. And I mean, I'm not ever gonna lie to you. Like I'm nothing if I'm not honest. It wasn't always beautiful. I mean, sure we had disagreements, but I mean, every single time I was there, like in an odd way, it felt like I was like talking to my gay dads, but it was also real life shit. Like if I had shit that was going on in my life, I knew that I could call them and just have a human conversation. And it didn't have to be about work. It didn't have to be about a scene that I was filming for them. It wasn't about test results. It was like, I care about you as a person. And yes, you do work with us and we care about you in that regard, of course, but you are still a human being. And I'm always going to care about you in that way first before anything else.
And like, I also think too, on top of the whole family aspect in general that I talked about, I think you
Mhm.
came in with a very good family around you, as in the people
Yeah.
that were currently working there. Because like, you had Leo Grand there too, and he had a
Okay.
really amazing energy. And the two of you, your chemistry together was
Yeah.
brilliant. And even like speaking of like the twink body and everything, I mean, Leo Lewis, like I feel like in any other studio, if he hadn't been able to establish himself as the humongous dick that he is, and
Yeah.
not in a bad personality way, in the other way.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, if he hadn't been able to get that established, I feel like with his body type and everything, another studio would have slotted him as a bottom, and it would have been awful.
Oh, 100%. Because
Yeah,
they love to do that. They
yeah,
see a tweak and they're like, oh, America's Next Top
yeah.
Bottom.
As like
Even if
that,
that's not what you do,
yeah.
they're like, you're gonna be a
Oh
bottom.
yeah, and like the alternate too is freaking. It's literally in the intro there that I had fucking Felix Fox. He's the biggest, sappiest bottom I have ever known. But it's like he's
Oh yeah.
muscular, so they're always men.com always wants to make him a top. And it's like I'm watching the scenes. It's like
Well,
you
in
could
the
just
first like 5 minutes when I met him and worked with him, like we were literally kikiing the whole time,
yeah,
and he was, oh yeah, like I'm a huge bottom, and I was like, oh, okay, work. Like this
yeah,
is gonna be. I know that this.
hugest bottom ever. But it's like the studio looks at it. It's like
Yeah.
nah, too much muscle. Stick your dick in that boy. Go on, chop chop.
They formatted it and produced it in a way that like even if somebody would have known that he was a bottom, we had such great chemistry off camera.
Yeah,
Like we were sisters. So when we got down to the nitty-gritty and we started working, it was easy. I mean, you just kind of have to like dial it up a little bit, maybe
yeah.
over manufacture it just a tad, but after you kind of get to that place, it kind of just it flows.
Yeah, I think Brock Banks is another good example of that because it's like the girl's got a little fruit in her salad bowl and everything, but like
Oh, yes,
Brock can
yes.
dial in the mask when he needs to for a good scene for the good
That
chemistry
is
to
my
pop.
good sis.
I
I
adore
love
he okay the most amazing thing in the world is that Brock Banks is very technically my neighbor right now. He is just
hmm
the next town over, just the next town over. So it's like
genuine. such a good person.
And honestly, I would just love to just the next time I'm in Albuquerque, if he's there and he's not busy, I would just love to go to like Crazy Fish and just eat sushi and talk. Cause
He is so wonderful. And I think when you're in porn, because keep in mind, like I was catapulted very quickly.
yeah,
the
you
second
were.
it was literally overnight, and I had like 60,000 followers, and then I had 100,000 by the end of the week. It was so fast, and I went from working a job in collections, like literally 9 to 5, and traveling all over the place. And I mean, there were times where I was only home for like 12 hours, and then I was on the next flight out. I was always like so nervous and uncomfortable when I would go into a new group of people because I understand how people might look at me and see me and maybe be intimidated. Honestly, it's just because I have resting bitch face really fucking bad. Um, but I was always very intimidated, especially in the beginning, because I felt like a nobody who was supposed to cosplay as somebody because I had all these followers. And I met Brock because Brock was the first one that I had done my scene with as a new exclusive.
I
So
love that scene.
Greg was the first one, non-exclusive, and then my first exclusive scene was with Brock. And learning about who he is outside of porn and realizing, and I'm not gonna, spill his tea, because if he wants to tell the internet what he does outside of porn, that's his.
Oh, do
that's
not worry. Do not worry. I'm going to be working on Brock. I'm going to be working.
But I mean, when I realized that, like, this person that I may have been intimidated by, this muscly man who is very beautiful in person,
Oh my God.
for those that have never been able to see him, um, when we were just talking and kikiing, and I realized that we were so similar, I was like, oh, this is a good Judy. And even like after we had done OnlyFans together and we had done other stuff together, I would still like talk to her all the time. And we still to this day follow each other on social media, like on my personal Instagram.
Brilliant. And too, it's like, speaking of Brock, it also brings me to like Shiraj and another person I just adore, and someone who really inspired me in those early days, because he was out there in all the protests walking. The amount of scars that he collected from getting in scuffles during those protests in 2020. And it's like, he would be right out there the next day going again. And
Shirok is another one.
Yeah.
Genuinely, when we did our scene together, I was so excited to work with him. And that's another one that, like, no takes, none. No pause, no cut the cameras, nothing. From start to finish, it was pure chemistry.
I love that.
Yeah.
What were some of your worst experiences? And you don't have to name names, but if you want to name names, you can name names.
Oh, baby, I will name names. Because I put it in a magazine when I was living in the GayBN magazine. And I'll talk about it until the day that I die. I think that when I came into the industry, people didn't like me because I had already had, instances with other people my first go round. But the second time, I think people were more scared because I had a platform and people listened to me. And I think that being a small town Midwest kid, people saw something in me that maybe was a little bit more relatable than a lot of other people. But when I worked for Boy Crush and we were all there and we were doing like a filming week, I remember, keep in mind, and I'm not going to shun people for this part too much because I do think a lot of it was on me, but I was underage drinking. I think I was like 19 at the time. And obviously I should have known better. And I probably should have maybe gauged the people that I was with at the time, because I kind of just did it and said, fuck it. Because I mean, I was in Phoenix and I was like, this is, at least in my head, a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'm just going to go balls to the wall crazy. And I think I was drinking champagne. I had drank quite a bit, and I looked at the bottom of my glass and it was like bubbling abnormally. Like it was a lot. Bad. Like bad. And I shit you not, I literally at one point thought that I had went to bed, and the next minute I'm like waking up and I'm in a beanbag chair in the corner of Brian's room, who I don't believe any longer works there.
No.
At least to my knowledge. I have not followed up in a long time
I
because
did
I
see
don't
the
think
article about him, and I did like look, and I'm like 99% positive he is not there anymore.
I don't fuck with nobody from that studio, anybody. But as I woke up, I was in a lot of pain down there, an abnormal amount of pain, like concerning amount of pain. And as I looked up, he was literally doing it to another model. And my first instinct was to call the videographer, Philip. I think that that's what he went by. Because we were friends at that point. Like he would reach out to me when I went back home and wasn't working. Like I thought that we had a friendship, and I told him what was going on, and he did nothing. And when it came down to it, and we were all talking about getting together and exposing Brian, he said that he would corroborate some of our story, but only if he could remain anonymous because he didn't want to lose his job. Now,
Wow.
look, I understand that we've all got to make money. And I even understand even back then, like, because what would this have been, like 2017, 2016,
Mm-hmm.
2017, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
I understand that even back then we've all got to make money. I
Mm.
get that.
Yeah.
But at what point in time are you enabling predatory behavior by not speaking up?
Yeah.
Especially when we're supposed to be friends. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is somebody who has called me outside of work and asked how I'm doing and has asked how, things in my family are going and asked how things in my personal life are going. Like, this is somebody who, at one point in time, genuinely showed that they had cared, and
Eh,
that's what led me to believe that. So when he was like, "Oh, I'll remain anonymous," and then when I came back into the industry, had the audacity before I signed an exclusive, sent me a message and was like, if you ever need any work, let me know. And I will always be humble. Always. It will never bother me or matter to me how many followers I have, how much money I have. I don't care. I will always be a human being with a moral code. And the only thing in my mind that I could type back was, have you seen my roster that I have done by myself? I will never need you. End of discussion. And that is the last message that I ever sent him. Felix approached me, like, I think shortly after I had done a couple of scenes with Shishi LaRue and Nextdoor.
mm.
And I think it was straight up gay porn. The only award show that I ever actually got to go to in person, like pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We all went to an after party when I had met Theo Brady, and we started to become friends.
Mm.
Um, and we all went to an afters together. Casey, is that his name? Like the bigger, like the heavier set guy from
Yes.
Helix.
Uh-huh.
And then Alex.
Uh,
Casey had approached me, ordered the Uber. I I don't know if he was trying to flex a little bit, but he
mm-hmm.
definitely ordered the Uber Black, and it was a very big Escalade, and he packed us all in there. And we went to this after at parties, like I think it was at the W.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of people there, some people in porn, some people not in porn. But they were definitely campaigning. Like they were definitely campaigning, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy because back in 2016, when I was in the works with Boy Crush and blah 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 blah,
Mm-hmm.
I flew from Phoenix, Arizona to San Diego to Keith's personal apartment, to his personal condo. And there was some flirtation there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got down to it, my intuition was telling me, like, I was like, no, like there's something off about this situation. Like I can't go through with this. And I obviously didn't. We didn't do anything. But had gotten into bed and was like naked and making
Yeah.
advances. And then shortly after I got back home, I saw something on Twitter, like when it all started to pop off,
Mm-hmm.
that he was HIV positive and not disclosing his status to
Yeah.
people. And back then, at the time, like there wasn't a ton of conversation about you equaling you. and I wasn't on prep at the time either. So even the, you know, the words like I'm, you know, HIV positive, because he never told me that he was undetectable.
Yeah.
After I got home, he just said that he was positive. It like scared the shit out of me. And he like was saying that they would never hire me. So when I came back and they were like poaching me and messaging me for weeks, like I was a little like my flabbers were gasted ever.
Yeah. And like with Helix too, like I said, it's generational. It's like because you had the whole era, like with Lane, that
Yep.
group, their Lane, Angel, etc. They didn't just like retire from that studio. They left. They were walking out because
Oh
of the
yeah.
behavior. And then
They were written
the
up.
next group, Eli and like all of them,
Jordan
again
Lake.
walking out. And then the fucking shit with Alex Riley, that just, gosh.
Oh yeah. That that situation was was so was so weird to me. Like Alex and I had been in communication. I think it was like a week before he passed. And we were talking about working together. And then we had gotten off topic and like we were just talking about personal lives and we were flirting back and forth. And I think at one point in time we had talked about him coming to visit SF and like we were just gonna hang out. And then he went radio silent for a minute and I was very concerned. And then the last thing that I had heard was that he passed away. And one, very questionable circumstances. And I'm not going to insinuate anything.
No.
No, we can telepathically communicate that maybe something had went on.
Bzzz.
The Alex that I knew, as intelligent as he was, I don't think that the entire situation was laid out as it actually
No.
happened. I think it was spun in a way that benefited people so that they could still profit off of him. And they did,
Yeah.
because they continued to post a bunch of his videos. How in a fucking memorial to somebody that literally earned your company money are you going to memorialize them by post a video of them having fucking sex? Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how dirty were those shoes?
Well, believe it or not, I would say they were fairly dirty, like actually real tea. I think when I lived in Oregon, I had bought them at Ross,
Love
and
Ross.
they were like my go, like my get up and go shoes. So I wore them everywhere. Like going out, I wore them to the store, I wore them to go on excursions in Oregon. And so I would say that they were pretty dirty. I mean, especially because around that time, I think that was when I had my first apartment in LA, which was in like mid city. And so like I wore them from the time I was in Oregon to the time I arrived in LA. So they were pretty, I would say they were pretty dirty.
And you had fucking Lane go and slurp on those bitches.
I did. I did.
No
And
wonder he threw you on that bed for 7 takes.
honestly, it was so fun to do. Because like up until that, he had never been in a role like that.
No.
Ever.
No.
So to that be our first like introduction to each other. And I'm in this like role of power where I'm like, you are subservient to me, yet in the scene you are a top. I think it was like a level of role reversal that people were not expecting from me,
Yeah.
but they also were not expecting it from
From
Lane.
him. Yeah.
So I think it provided a much different experience than anybody had ever seen from either of us.
Very
at that
definite.
time.
Yeah. I do like that as it gets in, like, again, I keep mentioning the toss onto the bed scene. Once it goes there, there is like a bit of a shift in that power dynamic too. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
still ends in, but I mean, it's Lane. It's Lane. Like, let's be honest, he's at his best when he gets to be like dominant.
That
and-
scene was very like there were a lot of levels to it. Like the acting portion was very like mean, kind of like mean girl coded.
Yeah.
When we got in bed, it was flipped. but still in a way that was like seemingly romantic and
Yeah.
vulnerable. And then at the end, it was that part where I like send that video to
Yeah.
Leo, where I'm like,
You
and that's how
see,
you do
you can just get what you want and they
it.
don't even know it. But,
And
oh,
true tea, I mean, I still to this day will always get what I want. I mean, I'm a hardworking bitch, and I mean, I've done the work, I put in the time to get where I'm at. So in that moment, like it felt very powerful to have just moved to LA. I had wanted to be there since I was 12 years old,
mhm,
made it happen at 22, 10 years later. So I was already in a move of like, oh my God, I feel powerful because I worked my fucking ass off to get here. And now I get to do this role in the first feature film that was very, very big. And not only was it very successful, but I got to be a version of myself that I don't think that people get to see because they had only seen me be this very like feminine, submissive.
submissive little bottom.
Yeah. And so I got to like change up the perception and the way that people view me, which is always wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was so fun.
And speaking of that hidden side of you, I mean, I say hidden side, within
Yeah.
the industry. Let's talk about Game On because okay, we watched over on our Discord for here. We
Mhm.
watched some of the like cinematic stuff, and I don't really show too much of the sex scenes at all. I just like
Mhm.
go into the acting everything. So I don't think I did try to keep some clips in so people would get the idea. But like
Yeah.
your scene in Game On with Dallas was a full
Mhm.
on flip. Both of you guys topped in that, and that to me I was watching, I was just like, holy fuck, this is amazing. And I just could not think of a lot of studios that would actually take two guys that are,
Yeah.
again, like you say, pure. Look at this. This is a bottom. This is only ever going to be a bottom. Take those
Mhm.
two, put them together, and let them just switch out and both have that dominant moment, have that dominant role.
Well, the gag is, and I mean, I don't say this to like ruin, the fantasy for anybody
No,
because
no,
I
no.
the scene that we did, and I love Dallas. We weren't originally supposed to work together.
Really?
My scene partner, and honestly, I'm not meaning this in a shady way. I genuinely can't remember who I was supposed to work with. But I think that I was supposed to work with somebody there that had just gotten into the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and then they like fell out for whatever reason. And I was actually supposed to go home after being there for like a couple of days or like a week because it had just fallen through. And toward like last minute, I was talking to Adrian and I was like, well, I've been here for a while. Like, I don't want to just go home after being here. Like, I feel like I need to make something work because that's who I am. I'm a hustler. I
Yeah.
work. I worked very hard my whole life. That's what was instilled in me growing up. And I had to grow up very, very early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just a hustler. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
have to work. I'm not going to be there just for leisure if I can work. And last minute, they came up with the idea. And we obviously both had our test results. And while that wasn't the way that it was supposed to go, it worked out. And I think that we did something very, very beautiful. And I think in
Definitely.
a way it heightened the friendship that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I haven't talked to him in a very long time. After I like left the industry, I kind of stayed away for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the whole scene was like, it was so comedic. When the cameras weren't rolling, we were laughing the whole time. It just felt like two people that had known each other forever that were just engaging together and having a moment, and it felt so raw and real. So in that moment I was a little worried, but as soon as we started working, it just kind of fell together in a really odd turn of events, and it was fun to do. Like, we had a great time. We were laughing the whole time. We were kikiing. We flew back together from Mexico, and so we had to go back to the airport together. We ate lunch together. We spent the whole day together, Ubered there together, got our luggage together. It started a whole ripple effect of like this friendship that like I'll always be very grateful for.
That is amazing. That is such a cute story about it. I'm now wondering about this person that fell through because it's like I'm wondering how much of the story did they actually have to rework because of this person falling through? Thinking
Honestly, I
about it.
don't know because it happened so quick. So I honestly don't think that there was a lot of story really At all. I mean, we had already taken like a lot of B-roll together anyway, because
Huh.
we spent the majority of our time in Mexico together. I mean, I
Hmm.
remember one like part in particular where I still have pictures of it on my phone of us in Mexico on the beach and we were drinking a beer together and we were playing in the water together and taking pictures of one another. Because I mean, I think, you know, the only person that's really ever going to be able to photograph you candidly is somebody who also looks like you because they
Hmm.
get it, you know, especially when it comes to like, I think a twink, because if we're photographed in a specific way and in very specific lighting, it can look less than favorable.
Hmm.
Um, so we just kind of clung to each other and were taking pictures that whole time. And they started like, I remember we were sitting next to this like little restaurant that they had on the beach, and we were just having a candid conversation. And Adrian was like, "Oh my God, let me record this." And it watched it back, like that one specific part, and I was like, "The genius that you are, that you just threw this together, genuinely."
So we've talked about, you doing the whole love thing,
Mm.
and that love thing is sort of ended in a little
Oh
negative. Yeah.
yeah.
So how has married life been for you? Ooh, what is that stone? Let me see that again. Oh, it's off. It's this way. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here. That is
He-
stunning.
So I didn't want like I had talked about it for a while, and this is the really like the cool thing that I love about my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever like I'm not the type of person to ask for things because I grew up very poor.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of money. And so like that will always live somewhere in me. I'm very like mindful of the things that I have and I'm very grateful for what I've been afforded. So I never ask for things. And I remember I had talked about it for a while, just like in passing. And I was like, you know, if we ever do get engaged, because I don't think that marriage is the most important thing to
Mm-hmm.
me, but I think it's important to the gay experience that I and other people like us get to experience that sense of normalcy. Um, so we had talked about it, and I was like, you know, if we ever do get engaged, like I don't think that I want a diamond like everybody. I think that it's a little cliche, and no
Yeah.
shade to anybody that has a diamond because they are very beautiful, and I have diamonds in mine as well. But I wanted something that felt personal to our relationship. So his birthday is in July, which means he
Mm-hmm.
has a ruby gemstone. And I don't love my gemstone because August is like a peridot or peridot, however you
Yeah.
say it,
Yeah.
or like pink tourmaline, I think, or like pink sapphire, something
Well,
like
I
that.
like
And I
pink tourmaline. I will say that. But yeah, peridot, it can be
beautiful,
nice, but it tends to be sort of a yellowish, and
yeah,
it's not
and it
always the
can
prettiest.
cool over time. So
Yeah.
when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, I think it would be really beautiful, like if you put your birthstone in it. And I had no concept of what he was going to do. And ironically enough, when he did it, he proposed on my birthday last
Mm-hmm.
year. So this year in August on the 15th will be a full year that we've been
Oh my
engaged.
gosh.
And my mom was there. I mean, my mom has a big mouth. I'm surprised that she
Oh.
kept this as long as she did, because apparently this was like months in the making and I had no clue. And he was also very mindful that I don't love like surprises. It catches me off guard. And I tell people all the time, like, if you're going to surprise me, please just do it around people that like you know that I'm comfortable with, because a lot of the time when I'm uncomfortable, I come across as almost like ungrateful because I'm so overwhelmed that I just don't know how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And my immediate reaction is just like the lack of awareness in the situation because I just tap out completely.
Yeah.
So he had just gotten home from a work trip overseas and he was gone for like a month. And I hadn't seen him in like 30 days, like 31 days,
Oh
32
wow.
days, however long it was. And he came home and my mom and I were like drinking because it was my birthday. We were celebrating. I had just turned, what, 27, which is crazy. Um, and as soon as he got through the door, I'm like talking to my mom and she's recording it at midnight and we're like about to do cheers. And all I see out of the corner of my eye is this like big man get down on his hand and knees in my home and I'm like belligerent drunk at this point. It's my birthday. And I was so flabbergasted that my immediate reaction was like, no, there's no way that this is happening. And I just kept saying, no, 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 no. And then we got Taco Bell, and I woke up the next morning and had a little bit of a panic attack because it still didn't feel real. But it was wonderful. He custom like got it done in LA himself. This is all him, all him. And now don't get me wrong, I was very gagged, and I don't mean this in like any form of shade whatsoever, but he is like very straight passing. Like if you saw him on the street and you had a conversation with him, you probably wouldn't know that he was gay. He has very minimal understanding when it comes to like style and fashion. Like he dresses like a straight man, whatever that may look
So
like
yeah,
for
so bruh type stuff. Yeah.
kinda. Yeah. Like, but still like most of that is like cultural because he's not
Yeah.
American.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
So this is all him, and I'm very proud of him because he worked with the jeweler and did it himself with her. So I'm very, very proud of him. And it's got like I won't be able to like show you because I don't think my camera would focus that much, but it has our initials engraved on the inside
Oh, that's so
and
cute.
the year that we got in or like the date that we got engaged. So it's like every time I take it off before I go to bed to like put it in my jewelry box, I get to like see that, which is very beautiful.
That is the sweetest thing ever. He sounds like such an awesome person.
I
Honestly,
shield
all I
him
can
a
say is
lot,
like, I'm
like a
just
lot.
so incredibly happy for you.
Like a lot of people, and I'll never tell like people that like I'll never give people a promise that like I will put him out there on the internet or that I will like, post him everywhere. Because I won't. And I think a big takeaway from porn is that there have to be things in life that you protect for yourself.
Yeah.
And while I know that we met because of sex work, that's never something that he had ever been involved in. We just happened to meet that way, and I think that it was a beautiful turn of events, and we, you know, created this very beautiful life together. But that is a part of my life that I will always protect. I think that creatively, the way that they film their models is in a light that I understand after working with them why people appreciate them so much. And I understand why a lot of their fan base is women because they produce content in such a way that it has a storyline, it has a plot, it has a meaning behind it. Like these people are people that, I mean, never once was I ever told you're going to work with so and so. Like I was always reached out to weeks in advance after I had already filmed with a bunch of people. And then the next roster was given to me, and they were like, who do you want to work with? Like,
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be an exclusive. It can be somebody that you've seen online that you think that is very attractive because they value chemistry and they know that we're not going to manufacture everything.
Yeah.
So I think that from a creative standpoint, that gives your models the ability to not only, of course, choose who they work with, but it also prioritizes the consent that they give you,
Yeah.
which is extremely important. I think a lot of people in the industry do not talk about informed consent,
No.
and it's extremely important. But professionally, same thing. I think
Hmm.
that while maybe there have been whispers in the wind of people who have had negative experiences with them, whether that experience was maybe fabricated because there was money involved, or it was an experience that genuinely happened, because I think that both exist. I can only speak on my experience. And still to this day, I mean, Adrian, literally, we had a really long, lengthy conversation at the beginning of this year where he was sending me like pictures on set and he was like, I miss you. And
Aw.
he was like, you will forever be a favorite of mine. And he was like, you are genuinely like a model in every sense of the word. And I will always value your professionalism and the way that you handled yourself. And he was like, I'm always proud of you. And like that takes a lot for a person to do because I could have left the industry and he could have never spoke to me again.
Yeah.
I could have genuinely just been a dollar sign to him.
Hmm.
Because I mean, let's face it, historically speaking in porn, we're paid a lot less than what the studio makes. And I
Oh.
understand that that is a thing and I get that and I respect it. But when you're treated a certain way and you're valued a certain way that you know that a lot of other people don't have, it does make you extremely grateful for the position that you have. And never at any point was I ever like forced into anything. I got a choice in signing my exclusive contract. I got a choice in re-signing my contract for the 3 years that I did, 4 years that I did. I think it was 4 years. Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah, I
there.
appreciate it was for.
I got a choice every single time who I worked with, how the lighting looked. If I didn't think that I looked good, they would change it. If I didn't think that a storyline made sense for me, they would change it. I always got to choose. And a lot of studios, a majority of the studios out there,
They're
do
like,
not
no.
give you that
Yeah.
opportunity.
They're like, we want to
They,
pair you with this guy because it's going to look good. We want to pair you with this guy. And you could be like, no, this is the worst piece of shit I have ever had to meet. Tough,
yeah,
tough. Put his dick in your mouth. Deal with it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're here to make money, just do it.
Yeah.
Never once was I ever told that. Never once was I ever treated like that.
Yeah.
So I will always have high regards for them
Mm.
creatively and professionally.
I only have one of their photography books. It's Summer Boys, and it's signed by both
Mm.
of them. And they're very personal signatures, and it softens my heart every time I look at it. But in like the foreword to it, they mentioned too that their main thing has always been chemistry. Find the
Yeah.
chemistry between the performers and just go off of that. Don't try to force it or manufacture it.
Yeah, that's where the
Hmm.
beauty in it
Yeah.
exists. Actually attracted to one another. It doesn't matter if we've had conversations before the scene, but if there's attraction there, chemistry can also be
Yeah.
there. And it's easier to manufacture chemistry when it's organic versus when it's forced. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if maybe people that have never done porn can tell, because honestly, there are some scenes that I will never ruin the fantasy for people, but I know that people find in high regard that I know hands down was extremely fabricated.
Yeah. This is good. This is kind of a rough one.
I'll be fine.
All right.
To me.
Knowing what we know now, how do you feel about your scene with Austin Wolf?
Austin.
Oh my God, you knew it. The trepidation gave it away, didn't it?
Well, this is something that I've actually already talked about.
Oh,
I addressed it shortly after it came out. So I want to like set the timeline for people.
yes.
So keep in mind that like obviously Austin is older
Yeah.
and he at the time of him being caught, they said that he was how old? Like mid 40s?
Yeah.
So I used to watch Austin in middle school and high school.
Very much same. Yeah.
The shock on my face when I walk into the Cockyboys house and Adrian is like, "Hey, like I have somebody that you've been like talking about a lot, but like it's a surprise." And I show up and this big, huge man is standing there and I don't even know that it's Austin at first. And I'm like all giggly. And then he turns around and he is like smitten by me. I was gobsmacked because I was like, I've seen this man all over the place. Like I have probably masturbated to this man more times than I can count. Like he was like the pinnacle of like attractive daddy when I was in middle school and high school. I had worked with him. After we worked together, we stayed in touch. We obviously did that OnlyFans video in the bathroom at the Straight Up Gay Porn Awards at the
Yeah.
WL. That happened a long time ago, so they cannot come after me. And it was a porn award, so nobody else was there. We stayed in touch. In 2021, I visited New York and I had a scene out there. And then I stayed behind in New York to escort a little bit and like make more money before I went back home.
Hmm.
Um, and sorry, my dogs are like barking in the background, so just don't mind that. They're very like reactive.
Oh, we can barely
But
hear him actually, so it's okay.
oh, perfect. But 2021, I think it was like June 2021, I stayed in New York City for a whole month in like downtown New York, like close to Times Square. If that's not technically downtown New York, I'm sorry because I know that somebody from NYC will crucify me. But that's what I thought in my head. That's what I thought downtown New York was. Okay, sue me. Um, Stayed back, was in communication with Austin, went to his apartment, met his husband. We did another OnlyFans video. Two of them, I believe. And the whole time, like he was texting me, and there were like discussions where like I was thinking about moving to New York at one point in time, and there were some conversations about me and Austin maybe potentially being like slightly romantically involved.
Oh.
Mm. And then I obviously left New York, didn't make the decision to move there, came back home to LA, lived out my lease until things went awry with my roommate, who was my best friend at the time.
Mm.
And then I met my partner, and obviously we moved in together, and we've been together ever since. Left LA, obviously. And the last communication that I had with Austin, I think, was like 6 to 8 months after I retired. And I asked him to take down my For My Fans profile because I was like, hey, like I'm no longer in the industry. I've submitted like a deletion request like 6 times. It won't take it down. He said that he was going to take it down. Nothing ever came from it. And
Mm-hmm.
I never heard from him again until I saw the article go live.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wow. I don't regret many things in life. And I think a part of me can only regret so much because it's only information that I'm privy to now.
Uh-huh.
So I can't say that at that time that I regretted doing it. However, I will tell you that knowing what I know now, had I known that then I would have never done it. And there is a part of me, because honestly, that is one scene that went so viral. When we did that scene together for Cockyboys, it was all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
for a while, it was like one of the most viewed, like newer age videos on Cockyboys' website. When we did OnlyFans together, they were super popular. They went all over the place. So I know that a lot of people have seen that. And I know that I think maybe me working with him maybe led a lot of other people to work with him because I was very
Yeah.
outspoken and very loud in the industry. So I think when people saw that I worked with him, they were probably like, oh, well, if Avery can trust him, maybe I can too. So there will always be a little bit in me that feels a sense of disgust, like knowing what I know
Yeah.
now, because it was always very odd to me that he was only into twinks. And I don't think that being into twinks inherently means that you're going to do something
No.
like that. I want to clarify that for
Yeah.
anybody who may be into twinks.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you are attracted to me, I do not inherently think that you are a predator.
Yeah.
But I think when you start to go into the realm of referring to people as certain things that only lead to people believing that you might be attracted to children, it does get a little dicey.
Yeah.
And I do have like a really big sense of like the when I saw that, I felt like so much disgust. Like I was like, oh my God, like these videos are out there forever. I worked with this man.
Yeah.
Now, never once was I in a situation where I would have even thought that that was the case.
Yeah.
There might have been times in my mind after we worked together where I was like, hmm,
Yeah.
something's not quite right here, but never in my mind did I think that I was ever going to read an article that said that there was like over 200 videos.
Yeah. Seriously, it was like a shock, and it's
And the translation on one of the videos, like 10-year-old,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
some as young as infants.
Uh
Like
huh.
I literally sat on my couch and had like a fucking come to Jesus moment where I was like,
Seriously, it was like,
what the fuck?
and it was.
For a million years did I ever think
It's
that
one of
that,
those things too where I really couldn't verbalize it because
yeah,
it's such a one of these things where people are like, oh my God, I was so sad because I was so into it. People are like, just shut the fuck up. Don't talk about being into this piece of shit guy when he was like doing shit like this.
honestly,
And it's like
it, that
valid.
wasn't
That is
even the first
100%
thing that
valid.
came across
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
that I was like into him
Yeah.
at all. The first thing that came to my mind was, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. I was just like pure disgusted and ashamed and like
like I've heard some
repulsed.
shit from the industry, but
Mm.
like never that. After I got out of that initial shockwave of like, oh, I have to be this, then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And if it fails, fine. I'll find something else to do. But if it works, then it works.
Yeah.
And Honestly, if that means that I get to be immortalized as like a pig twink for the rest of my life, I'm good, babe. I'm fine with that.
Hey, you know what? If a guy can pull off being a fucking muppet in an adult film, more power to him.
Babe, I'm multifaceted. I'm not just gonna go on camera and sit on dicks for a paycheck. Like I want to
Yeah.
do crazy shit.
I love that Tate Hoskins was basically like, you know what? I just want to do a JFF because I want to do piss play. So I'm going to make a JFF for piss play because OnlyFans
Honestly,
ain't
I
going to give
had
it to
thought
me.
about transitioning to it, but I was really good friends with Tanner Reed,
Oh my God, I
and
love her.
in solidarity for him, I wasn't like I my moral compass wouldn't allow me to do that.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if I would have made more money because of fetish content. It didn't matter if it would have been perceived
Yeah.
differently.
The way that JFF was with her was like really, really bad.
I couldn't have like I shared so much time with Tanner. Like we hung out like in real life all the time in LA.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that to him.
I miss her when she was doing Twitch streams too. She was so cute during it and like, oh,
I haven't talked to him in a long time, and I hope that he's doing really well because I
oh
like
she's transitioned. Yeah, I'm not doing your type of she. I'm doing a literal she. She's transitioned.
Tanner.
Yes, and she's kept her name. She's still Tanner. Oh my God, honey, we need to get you updated on all the Twitch.
Tanner transitioned?
Yes.
I would have never, I would have never thought that.
Yeah. It was like really amazing, and like she
Good
disappeared for a
for
while. Yeah,
her.
she disappeared for a little while, and then she showed up, and then she was just yeah. She's got her little naturals popping in, budding in, and she's
Good for,
yes,
I am so proud of her.
and
Good for
yeah,
her.
yeah,
That is fucking iconic. See, this is why I love Tanner.
yeah,
Never gave a shit about what anybody thought.
yeah.
Did whatever without any fucking regard for negative response.
What does pride mean to you?
See, that's such a hard question.
Yeah,
Um,
people always get stumped with this one, which is why I love asking it.
I think as the more theatrical person, people want me to like give that Miss America answer, like world
Mm,
peace. Um, but no, I think pride to me is always about looking at the younger version of myself that wanted to be in drag and wanted to do all of the things and wanted so badly to express what they feel they look like on the inside and show that to the world unapologetically. And I think as an adult with a greater understanding and a greater sense of self, I can do that. And I know that that's kind of a selfish answer, but I think
mm,
that that's what pride should mean to everybody. I think for a lot of people, whether you had a positive coming out story or a negative one, I think the entire time that we exist on this planet, we're constantly trying to chase individuality and what that might mean to us. So, especially during Pride, but every single day, just so you are aware, I will never be anything but myself. And I don't care if that's upsetting to people. I don't care if it's obnoxious to people. When I'm at home, I'm a lot different than I am when I'm with my girls, like my friends, When I'm with the gals, it's I don't talk like this. Like I'm like, hey, Deepa, we're very over the
mm-hmm.
top. But when I'm at home, I'm like a different version of myself. But as a child, I felt like that was harmful because I felt like I was like constantly hiding a version of myself. But I think as an adult, I've grown in understanding to know that that's a part of me that exists for a very specific time. And I'm also grateful that I don't give a shit anymore and that I'm comfortable sharing that. I still wear my crop tops in public. Trust that one. Stop. I'm wearing a crop top shirt and a crop top jacket right now.
Show it
Crop
off.
tops never changed for me.
Loving the slutty shorts too.
See, that will always be my brand. I'm a crop top girly until the day that I die. Um, but I think pride will always just be that to me. I look inwards a lot and I look every year for my birthday when I talk about it on Instagram. the first picture in the collage that I share is always a younger version, like picture of myself. Um, because when I address myself, I'm never talking to myself as an adult. I'm always talking to the Joshua that was at one time. Because I don't really give a shit how I feel about myself as an adult in within reason. I care about that version of me because that's who I care to make proud. Because the dreams and the aspirations that we had are something that the adult me got to work to achieve.
Hmm.
And so that's what I always want to focus on. So I do a lot of reflecting in the sense that I talk to that version of myself that wanted to do it so bad because I want that to be healed because I think the shit childhood that I had, I owe him that. So I think that's what Pride will always mean to me. Every year on June 1st is that like celebration that I'm a year older. So I'm making it to that version of queer people where we do get older and we see ourselves in older queer people and we have that moment of relaxation where like it is possible. But I also get a chance to celebrate not only the person, me, that made this possible, but the queer family that I have that also was there the whole time. Um, Outside of everything, I have a very close-knit queer family, a queer house, if you will. I'm not a drag mom by any means, and I hope that nobody ever asks me to be because I don't want no fucking children.
Maybe a drag auntie. Yeah.
Yeah, drag related. I'll be your drag sister. I'll be your drag auntie. I'll be your drag grandmother at one point in time.
Your drag
Uh,
cousin twice removed.
yeah, but the only kids that I will be having is in real life. I just constantly sat there and I was like, I just don't know why I've never been able to find like home. Like nowhere that I've ever been like ever felt like home to me. I always bounced around a lot as a kid. I bounced around a lot as an adult. I think the longest lease that I had before here was like a year max. And now we've been here for 3.5 years. And I'll tell you, as cliche and as cringe as it fucking sounds, and I'm gonna grit my teeth when I say that. I don't think I truly found home until I met my partner because it was like a level of understanding. Like he's that good.
Home is family. Yeah. Hey, do you want to say any words as a farewell?
The only thing that I'll ever have to say, because I'm not one for sappy fucking goodbyes, I'm glad that you got to see me grow because I know that in porn I wasn't always a version of myself that I was very proud of. And if anything, I'm happy that it was documented online because I think that not only does it cause me and force me to take accountability for things that maybe I wasn't proud of, but it also gives me visual evidence of things that I can look back to learn from and things that I don't want to repeat. Not that there was many because I was very mindful of the things that I did in the industry because I came in with a purpose. But thanks for believing in me. Thanks for giving me success. Because honestly, without the people that watch me, I wouldn't be jack shit. I mean, I'd still be who I am, but I don't think I would be recognizable. Um, Beauty will never mean shit to me. Honestly, someday this will all be gone. I'm happy that I got to immortalize a part of it forever. I do still have my awards, by the way. They never went
Goody
away.
goody.
I'll end my home and I will always be proud of them, even though they're a porn award. And I think the only thing that I'd ever have to say to anybody is if there's ever anything in your life that might seem irrational or crazy, whether it's porn or it's a job that you want and it's something that you think that you can't get. There was one time in my life where I thought that I wouldn't be capable of a lot of things too. And I can tell you, up until now, I turned 28 in August, which is crazy to think about. I'm pushing 30.
Oh my gosh.
There was a time in my life where I never thought that I'd get there either. But you know what? I bit the bullet knowing that it could have blown up in my face, and I did it. And guess what? It worked out. The only thing that changed my perception was fear. I stopped being scared. Do it. You live one life. And when you look back at time, it's shit in comparison to the number that you see on a screen of average life expectancy. Do it.
Do it.
Don't let yourself stop. Don't be scared. Fear is healthy to a certain degree. If you want to move across the country, I've done it a lot. I've moved all over the place. Do it. If you want to do porn and you think that you could do it, who's
Do
to
it.
tell you? Go right ahead and do it. All I will ever say is just choose you. If there's a scene you don't want to do, if there's a place you don't want to be, a car that you don't want to drive, a deal you don't want to make, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much money is involved. Money isn't everything. I've had a lot of money and I've had no fucking money. Nothing changed. I struggled regardless. I'm still the same person. Go live your life. Chase your dreams. I don't care if you're 18 or you're 68. Go chase your dreams. Because if I can do it, small town Midwestern kid from a really, really small Catholic town, and I can somehow manage to be a recognizable person where I'm in Chicago 2 years after I retired and people are stopping me on the street, you can do it too.
Wanting to do this approach like ever since early. That's why this whole intro, this is like from my very first when I started doing these videos. Be on the Cumshot. That's always what I wanted. Whether they're active in the industry and now whether you guys are retired. I want to explore that person who is there after the sex, who's there before the sex. I want to.
I mean,
to get to
trust,
know
I'm
the
still
human.
having sex.
Oh yeah,
Y'all,
damn right you are. You got 6'3" going in.
and I climb him like a tree, babe. Y'all just don't see it.
All right.
It's
I'm
but-
gonna let you go. Go get some food. Go play with the puppies. Go take
I have
saucy
dinner
pics to
tonight.
send to your
Oh.
husband.
I've sent him plenty. He'll be fine for a couple days.
Oh, well. But thank
I
you
still
so
have
much.
my toys, Diva. He gets videos regularly. Trust.
Nice. Well done. This was so fun. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
love you. I
Love
hope that
you.
everything goes well.
Thank you.
Obviously, you're more than welcome to message me anytime you need to.